Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special video indeed. This is how to master the exploration age and to be as efficient and quick as possible to get yourself from that age to the commerce age. Now, I was thinking of doing this video for each civilization, but I thought to myself, is there a way that we can try and get a standardized video here with a few caveats, of course, to enable you to improve your exploration age as best as you possibly can? And luckily, a good friend of mine, Jailed here, has provided a replay. I will drop his link to his channel down below in the description as well. And he's doing a lot more videos like this, but this one is very important to me, and it should be important to you as well, because the exploration age is the most important age in the game. It gets your tempo going. So without further ado, we're going to be getting into this. And there is a few caveats, ladies and gents. Of course, there's certain civilizations such as the Dutch, such as India, where the macro is very different. Villages will either cost wood, they will cost coin. There's also the Lakota as well, which do not require any houses for population, which drastically changes the way that you open with that civilization. So I'm hoping that you can take this away and you can apply it to those civilizations as well. And without further ado, we're going to be clicking the play button here, and we're going to be getting straight into it. So immediately, there we go. What are we? 2 seconds in, and there's already something that we need to address. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you immediately shoot your first hunt. And the reason that you want to do that is because in the first 10 seconds of the game, the hunts are kind of in a strange sort of behavior. They won't react to being shot, so they will not move away from your town center. So you want to lock down your first animal as soon as possible, and that is exactly what you want to do here. You want to make sure that the settlers are immediately right near the deer so that they can shoot it. The rest of your villages, you want to be collecting the crates and splitting them accordingly so they don't move into each other and get in the way. And immediately that villager needs to go into queue. We put the first villager into queue at 5 seconds. We want to make sure that we can do that sub 10 seconds if possible. And the next thing here you're probably thinking is, hang on a minute, Widgie, some villagers are going over to wood here. The reason that is because with the Portuguese opening, we want to be dropping a trade post, and most of the time with a trade post, we want to also drop a house so that we can enable further villages to be created in the exploration age. So because of that, we require more wood, and that is why Jailed here is moving some villagers over to wood. But in most circumstances, you won't really need to chop any kind of wood. You'll be able to put down a house or two houses, maybe a house and a market, and you'll still be able to get hunting dogs. So of course, with each civilization, bear in mind what you need to gather. And yeah, let's continue. So immediately now we need to make sure that we're herding our deer in. The 10 seconds have passed, so the deer are now basically assuming the same kind of behavior that they normally do, where after every 10 seconds, the herding will reset. And you can see there it's reset again. So Jailed has made sure on 2 occasions to move the deer closer to the TC. And bear in mind the amount of villagers on each herd here, on each animal. We have 2 villagers each. It's really crucial that you have a good even split of villagers on your animals. And the reason that is because 9 times out of 10, you'll be very close to getting your 800 food to enable you to get into the commerce age. And all of a sudden, you'll run out of food, and all of your villagers will be scrambling around to get onto the next hunt, or they'll have to shoot the next animal, and all of that is wasting time. So it's really crucial that you have a good split, and you're constantly shooting the animals when you can, and you're herding appropriately. And we can see here the garrison trick is being used. If you don't know what I mean by the garrison trick, I did do a YouTube short on it. And all you need to do is it means dropping your villager into the TC and then ungarrisoning them on the other side. It saves time and movement of your villagers. We can see Jailed is coming up to 100 wood so he can drop a house. That is his opening that he's doing. That may be different to what you're doing. And now we can see the villagers are immediately going over to the next deer. We want to make sure that we have that nice even split, as I mentioned, for the animals. And immediately you can see how Jailed is just really making sure that he's killing all of his first herd of his animals. It's very, very crucial that you have it under control. And while this is going on, just take note of what your explorer is doing. Make sure the explorer is covering as much of the map as possible. Do not have an idle explorer, and keep an eye on the treasures that you need to be able to get yourself into the commerce age quicker. Of course, it goes without saying, make sure that you're constantly creating villagers and there is no downtime for creating villagers in the exploration age. We want to make sure that we are at the perfect point of 800 food so we are able to get ourselves into the commerce age. Okay, so we are nearly getting ready for 800 food and we are in the perfect position. So what has happened here is that Jail has managed to age up at 3 minutes on a 14 population opening for the Portuguese. And you can see how perfectly that all happened, how it tied up perfectly. There were no scrambles for any of the hunts because the villagers were evenly split. We made sure at the start that we immediately shot that first animal so that we didn't have any kind of concern with the herding straight at the start of the game. And also we made sure that we immediately had that first villager in queue at around 4 or 5 seconds into the game. And of course we had that nice spread over the initial crates as well. So we can see, just continuing here, Jailed is now going to be aging up, and this is where it starts to change quite drastically for a lot. But one of the things that I always mention in all of the things that I do, guys, is make sure to plan your herds and get your next 2 herds in. Use 2 of your villagers to start pulling in the next 2 herds. And we saw here, Jailed unfortunately had a little bit of trouble here, and he shot it the wrong way and it did go further back. But that is the next stage for you, is setting up your herds for the next age. So ladies and gents, very straightforward. I hope you enjoyed this. Of course, let me know down in the comments below if there's anything that you think I've missed. This is an extremely difficult task to try and put a standard kind of guide across all the civilizations in the game. They are so unique and bespoke. It's very difficult in a game like Age of Empires 3. I hope you've actually learned something, and I want you guys to let me know how quick your age up has now improved. I've had people say, Widgie, I can't get past like 6 minutes. I'm aging up at 5 minutes. All you need to make sure is, ideally, you want to be getting into the next stage. You want to be getting into the commerce age at around 5 minutes. That's the kind of max end that you want to be doing it. Of course, it all depends on your civilization and the kind of strategy that you're doing. All right, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next video or the next stream. Catch you later.